What's up, everybody? For some reason, my background changed. Why did it do that?
It wanted you to be orangey yellow tonight.
I guess so. Welcome to episode 23 of Bono's Gamers Podcast. Good to see you guys here. I think we're waiting on a couple of other people to show up, but I'm glad to have Jaco from the Tech Update with us again tonight, all the way from South Africa. How's it going, buddy?
Good, in yourself, eh?
Doing well. And Zach from Nerd Cave Network. How's it going, Zach?
Doing well, man. Glad to be here.
Glad to have you here. What's your cohort Derek up to these days tonight? Sleeping probably?
At this point, probably sleeping.
Yeah.
Probably sleeping.
He's pretty lazy. Just sleeps all the time.
Yeah. You know, I'm gonna let y'all two fight that one out. Yeah, I was talking to him earlier because he texted me about one of the big things that happened today from the State of Play.
Oh yeah,
this is literally what he said. It's not any spoilers or anything. He's like, without spoiling anything, I'm stoked to recap the State of Play with you on Thursday.
I'm sure he is. And that'll probably be a really long episode too. I don't know. We'll get into that here in a little bit though. Yeah. So, I think that Yugi is coming here hopefully in a minute, and might even have the Construct with us tonight. Speaking of the Construct, here he is right here. What's up, Jason?
Sorry, I'm late.
It's okay. You sound like a robot.
You sound like a Decepticon.
Yeah.
Video's good. Joe Cool's working and sleeping. That's his life too. Yeah, well, everybody needs to sleep and we all need to be working. So there you go. Obviously, I'm just joking about Derek. I know he gets up really early.
Yeah.
So
all day, every day.
Glad he's getting the rest he needs. Hope he can be back on again someday, though. Well, he is a construct, so he has to sound like a robot. Living up to the name.
Yeah.
Well, we're glad to have everybody on tonight and watching tonight. We're going to start with the games that we've been playing, and let us know in the comments what games you've been playing. If you've been playing anything cool, we want to know about it. So make sure you let us know. Yeah, let's start with you, Zach. What have you been playing lately, bud?
So I've been playing Astrobot a ton. I've been playing on the channel last 2 weeks. I didn't play tonight. I went over State of Play stuff, but I've been loving it. It's such a good game, and the announcement today for Astrobot has me excited as well. And then I've also been playing The Last of Us Part 2 and enjoying the story on that. So I can't wait to wrap credits on it. I know I'm not anywhere near that. I've got 12 hours in so far. So just enjoying the journey.
Yeah. That's awesome.
Good stuff.
So Last of Us Part 2, have you not played that before?
Nope. I was quite strained in the finances when it came out. So yeah. I was like, okay, I'll just wait. And then I never got to it. And now I'm finally getting to it. And it's I kind of had the big thing in the beginning spoiled in a way, but I was like, well, maybe I didn't hear that. But I was like, I knew it was coming, but it wasn't that big of a shock. But the storytelling is really good regardless.
Gotcha. I've never played any of those. Not really my favorite.
It doesn't look like a zombie guy, right?
Yeah, no, me neither, really.
Yeah. Jason, I am not.
Except in VR.
No, that's when I'm the
It's
least
even worse in
design.
VR.
Oh my goodness, they are right in your face. I don't mind it if they're cartoony, but the more realistic it gets, the less I like it.
Plants vs Zombies is okay.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
that's just fun stuff right there.
Yeah.
See, Bo, I feel like you should experience it because of the story.
See, I
But-
love a good story, so
Exactly. The story is amazing.
Yeah.
But I
The
don't
story's
know.
almost. Yeah, I was just gonna say you could almost just watch all of the cutscenes and like get like a movie experience. I think someone's done that on YouTube actually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll be right back.
I'm sure they have. Yeah, I'm sure they have done that on YouTube.
Definitely worth it.
What is this a game? Kind of getting back into Space Engineers to get ready for the new update coming out soon. I don't know. I've never heard of that game, Space Engineers.
So,
I'm guessing you're an engineer in space.
yes. And it's Dan. I played a little bit with Dan one time, and it is super, super technical and nerdy. And that's coming from the Nerd Cave. But like, it
That's
literally like has some crazy stuff you can do in there if you're willing to put in the time. So
Okay.
but it is pretty cool.
All right. I mean, are you like repairing a spaceship or something, or a
You're
space station, or
sort of like you start out with that, and then you kind of build your own ship, and you can do all sorts of things, but like real physics apply. So
Okay.
it's not like Starfield. It's like Starfield on crack.
okay? All right.
Okay.
Wow. Huh. Okay. Okay. Here, think Minecraft in space. All right.
Sure.
Shout out to Kyle.
Hello.
Just watching some Seinfeld at the same time.
You got to do it the hello. La, la, la. I got you, Kyle.
I haven't watched that in a long time, mate.
Yeah.
To this day, I still slide into rooms like like crazy
Like
abruptly,
Kramer?
like Kramer. Yeah, I still do that.
Yeah. I think Kramer's the funniest part of that show. To me. Anyway.
Yeah, no.
Yeah. Thanks. There you go. Yeah.
You're welcome, Kyle. I got you.
All right. Okay, who's next? Yako. What have you been playing, man?
Yeah, so obviously I'm still going strong on League of Legends. Played some Fortnites over the weekend, and been getting back into Arkham City. Batman Arkham City. Haven't finished that yet. If you can believe it.
Arkham City.
Love that game.
I do too.
Yeah. No spoilers. I'm where Catwoman is trying to recruit Ivy. So.
Yeah, when Gandalf shows up, he gets crazy.
Yeah.
You never see that coming. I mean,
Yeah, like you're like, whoa.
Plot
WB's pulling out all of the IPs. Wish they would have done that in Justice League.
Okay.
Oh
Good
man.
stuff.
So how are you liking the combat and everything in the game?
It's really good. I'm playing it on easy just because I want the story and not too much of a struggling with sections to get through or so. But it's awesome.
Yeah.
Eh?
Yeah.
I haven't got the combos down very well yet. So.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I struggled with it at first until I realized it's not like when you're in combat, you don't just spam X over and over again or Y. You just hit X and wait, and then hit X again, and then hit X again, and then hit Y when they're gonna attack. And that little icon comes up. It's like slower than you think because like you're punching really fast a lot of times, or you're moving across the thing really fast when you get into that free flow combat, but you're actually not pushing the buttons very fast. It's slower than you think it is or should be.
I've just got to figure out where all of that is on PC. I'm just spamming my attack button on the mouse. So
Yeah,
so probably,
yeah, and you don't. It's probably left and right click. I'm assuming on
I'm gonna
PC.
have a look at that. Yeah,
For blocking, is it just right click? Probably.
Might be. I'll have to go. And
That's
have a
what
look.
I would guess, but I don't know.
I've only played a very little bit over the
When
last
you-
2 days.
If you spam too fast, though, you'll lose your combo, and so you'll get out of the free flow, and then it takes longer, and you don't hit as hard. So I had to learn to slow down. It took me a while.
I'll have to practice that. Get into that properly.
One of the things I loved about the Arkham series is the puzzles. Like, I think they do the puzzles.
Yeah.
You know, you have the Riddler challenges and everything, but the puzzles to get through the story, I think, just keeps you so much more engaged than a lot of other games. Like, it doesn't feel like you're just, you know, going from point A to point B. It's like you're having to figure out. You have to be a detective.
It's a little bit like Tomb Raider to a degree.
Yeah. I agree.
Yeah, no, that's cool. I enjoy that as well. But yeah, I think Robin's in there. He's on the cover, so I'm pretty sure I'm excited to get to that point. Do you actually play him at some point?
You play.
So that
He's
would be the
DLC. And there's you play as Robin in the DLC, and I don't know if you got like the complete edition or whatever. It might be included in whatever you
I
bought.
think I have got it off Steam.
He does show up in the main campaign, but he just,
just a cutscene.
he's a supporting character. You don't play as him in the main campaign.
Okay. Hopefully, I've got the DLC. That'd be good to play as him.
Yeah,
as
it's
well.
cool because he has like a bow staff, I think, and some of his moves are really cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think after the DLC takes place at the end of the game, like after the game has ended, and it's Robin versus Harley Quinn.
Okay.
That's what, and it's a whole different story. It's a whole separate story. So it's cool.
Yeah, they did a good job with the DLC characters where, like, you can tell that the combat system is the same, but it looks different as you execute like different like moves. Like it's really well done because you don't feel out of place because you've gotten a certain amount of muscle memory playing as Batman,
Right.
And it still kind of translates over to the other characters, but they look completely different when they fight.
Yeah, they move totally
sounds
differently.
Yeah.
The flips are different. Like flips are different and everything. Yeah.
Sounds awesome, mate.
Joe Cool's been playing Fallout 4 for the first time.
Ooh. Yeah.
Very nice. Very nice.
I got lost in that game for a while.
I just recently got the originals, the top-down RPGs. So I haven't played them yet. But they are very retro. Got it for free off Epic. So
I did too, actually. I haven't checked them out yet, but
so
with a name like Bo, you have to have a bow staff.
yeah.
When I was a kid, man, Donatello was my favorite Ninja Turtle, and it's because he had a bow staff. I'm pretty sure that was a lot of it.
Crazy sidebar on that, though. If I was so disappointed in, was it the first Turtles movie or the second, where his bow staff looked like it was like the size of an Apple pencil? Like it didn't like match the suit. Like I feel like whoever made the costume or the suit for the turtle didn't talk to the person making the bow staff, so he was like walking around like this. It was terrible. I was
in like the 1990 or 91,
like the original. He came out. He was like, it was awful. It was
Yeah.
I was disappointed.
Oh man, that first, okay, we're gonna talk about Ninja Turtles now. I wasn't planning on this, but yes, the first Ninja Turtles movie is like a shockingly great movie. I think, and it's kind of darker, but the second one is actually my favorite. My parents didn't let me. I saw the first one maybe one time at a friend's house or something, but my parents wouldn't let me watch the first one because they thought it was too scary, I guess, or something. I don't really know why. But the second one I had, and I watched it all the time, and so I have that nostalgia for the Secret of the Ooze, and it still brings a smile to my face to this day anytime that I watch it. and I
Kevin-
still watch it. So
Kevin Nash actually played the Big Shredder in
Really?
the
super,
second.
super Shredder.
Yep.
Wow.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's
So
cool.
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah. It was.
I personally like Back in Time. It's silly, but
The third one. Yeah,
yeah, I
No, no.
like it, but it is very silly.
Yeah, I know.
it's super silly. Yeah, it's very cheesy.
Yeah, Kevin
very
Nash
cheesy.
played Super Shredder 100%.
Yeah,
I was-
whoever it was a big dude. That's for sure. So
Do
I
you
guess
know
it
who
was
Kevin
Kevin
Nash
Nash.
is?
He's a wrestler, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or Diesel in WWE back in the day.
Yeah.
In the 80s.
Here,
Okay.
listen, I've never really watched wrestling, but
We call it wrestling.
yeah, the only reason I know who that is because of WCW versus NWO Revenge on the N64.
Yeah.
Which
I
was-
remember some of the older characters in WWE. Jake the Snake
Oh yeah,
and all the originals, Hulk Hogan, Ultimate
Mhm.
Warrior, those guys.
Macho Man Randy Savage.
Mm,
He's
Awesome.
my favorite.
yeah. No, I like Jake the Snake.
I literally we have a snake plant out in front of our house, and its name is Jake the Snake.
That's perfect.
that's
Oh, yeah.
awesome.
Good stuff.
There was an N64 game. We played it like crazy after school. WCW Revenge.
Yeah,
Mm,
that's
yes.
the one I'm
Yeah.
talking about. Yeah,
Yeah.
Mm.
yeah, I love that game.
Nah,
That was a
jeez.
fun game.
They had
I
that
still have
big-
that game. I still have it.
They had that big sumo wrestler guy, Yokozuna.
Yeah,
One stage.
Yakuza. Yeah,
Mhm.
So they
Mhm.
had,
He was in
what,
that game,
what did they call the something Rumble, where they had everybody in the ring at the same
Royal
time?
Rumble.
Yeah.
Royal Rumble.
Yeah.
I remember the one episode where they had like everybody team up to try and get him out of the ring, and they couldn't get him out.
Oh
Yeah.
man,
That's funny. Oh
Yeah.
man, awesome. Well, Jason,
Yeah,
what
good times.
have you been playing, man?
I've been playing everything in VR that actually needs a pistol of any sort. So I recently did a review of these deals, the Apex
I
NO
saw that.
gun stocks, and I was lucky enough to get ProTube to send out the Provolver, which is absolutely amazing. It's in the other room because I'm testing it, but so I've gone back to play some more Half-Life Alyx and some of the why is my mind blanking? But yeah, some of the add-ons, like the mods, and people
Okay.
have made like completely different maps and things that just like aren't the main story. So
Yeah.
the game just keeps giving. So I've been playing those just because it feels so good to use the Provolver in it. The amount of like recoil when you fire it, it's really, really cool feeling. So that and then there's this really cheesy shooter. It's very arcade. It's kind of like, it kind of reminds you of like the old, was it Time Crisis? Was that the old like shooter?
Mm,
Time Splitters.
Something like that. It's a really, really cheesy shooter. It's called Dead Second. It's on Quest.
Okay.
And it allows you to actually change the trigger pull for when the firearm goes off. So I've been playing that just to kind of get a feel for the gun stocks I just reviewed, and I couldn't get it to work with the Provolver, so that's a whole thing. So so I've been stuck testing instead of actually playing games for the last couple of days.
This might be a weird question. I'm curious. Like, have you fired like a real firearm, a real pistol, and how does that compare to how
it's nowhere near, but I mean, you don't want it to be.
Well, yeah,
like real recoil would be like way too jarring to like have happen on your Quest controller. And then even the subtle recoil that happens like on the Provolver is much more powerful than the Apex NO gun stocks. But even with that being just a little bit powerful, you have to remember those LED trackers on the Quest controller. The headset is like watching for those infrared trackers. So if you shake it too much, like you even notice it sometimes, even with these peripherals, that like you start to fire a lot and like the tracking of your hand and the gun will kind of like jitter a little bit because it's shaking it just like a little too much. Yeah. So there's no way it can compare, but it does make it feel better than like, I feel like without it, it feels like you're kind of like shooting a water gun, and it doesn't like translate to like what's actually happening in game. Like in game, it's like this big heavy caliber blast, but the Quest controller is just rumbling a little bit, So it definitely gives you those feels though, those Star Fox 64 Rumble Pack feels where you're like, oh, okay, that's how this should feel. It definitely definitely changes the whole vibe.
what a thing back in the day. Like that was revolutionary when they brought that Rumble Pack.
Yep. The first time you boosted, and you felt the rumble in the controller. It's like, why have we not been doing this for the last decade? Like, what have we been thinking? Yeah.
That was crazy stuff.
Awesome. Yeah.
Well, that's cool. I mean, that's cool that they have that, and I guess you're right. Like the Quest, they didn't design those controllers to keep up with that kind of movement because controllers don't move that way.
Yeah.
Plus, they're probably, I'm guessing, maybe somewhat blocked because of the peripheral, maybe the IR sensors in some way.
And they've done a good job. Like the two that I've been testing, they do keep it out of the way for the most part. So they even have like a hole down at the bottom to let that bottom infrared light show, and so they're doing the best they can. But it just wasn't meant to work that way. But I can't use a gun in a game now without one of them on. It just feels weird. It feels
really
it feels like I'm shooting pillows out of my gun. So if I don't if I don't attach something to it,
marshmallow.
Oh man. Nathan thinks it's cool. And he asked, do they make one that the slide cycles?
Yeah. So like even this one, like this, they use the slide on it. They use the slide, and then it can, I don't want to turn it on because these are super loud, which is actually a problem with these, but it does that, for full auto and single fire. The I don't have it in the room, but the Provolver has both the slide kind of feedback, but also it has a rumble too. So like if you do something like putting a magazine into a gun, it gives you like a little rumble, and and so you have both. You kind of have more rumble than the Quest controller, and you also have the gun haptic. So
that's cool.
That's pretty cool. Yeah.
That's very cool.
Pretty good. Guys, side note, I read a headline that said something about the MetaQuest 4. Do you know anything about that?
I don't know, but Connect is tomorrow.
Starts tomorrow.
So, so we'll see officially tomorrow. There's so many rumors. I mean, the Quest 3S was leaked.
That's for sure coming tomorrow.
That's coming. Yeah,
the Quest 3S is just a cheaper version of the Quest 3, probably starting at $299 US.
Less powerful, maybe
$499. I think it will have the same chipset. Yeah, I think it will.
Chip. Yeah. Okay. Just kind of weaker hardware around the outsides. No headphone jack. Fresnel lenses, which are far subpar compared to the pancake lenses in the 3. But
Quest 4 headlines, I mean, that's going to be just something that's like, it's like Switch 2 headlines. It's like, we know it's coming, at some point.
It's coming at some point. The shareholders want it to come, so it'll get there.
Yeah, but there wasn't any like real leak other than, hey, they're developing the Quest 4. Well, we could have guessed that. So so I've been playing some Half-Life Alyx, as we alluded to earlier. I bought this game back in the Steam summer sale, and I I picked it up for a little bit, and then I put it away for a month, and then I was like, I'm going to try it a little again, and put it away for a few more weeks, and then I got back to it this past week. I haven't made it like super far into the game yet, but it really is like on a different level of VR, and it's kind of weird because it's been around. I mean, when did it come out? Like 2018? 2020.
Yeah, I think it was 2020. Yeah. Or 2019.
So I mean, I haven't played anything else yet that's on that same, like, of the same caliber. But
on that note, Bo, actually, there's a video someone put out there that actually said that Half-Life Alyx is too good. It's too good because it's so good that like no other VR game can, deliver like it can. So yeah,
it's just really well thought out, and with like how the controls work and how you get your different weapons, and I don't know, reloading is done really well, I feel like. And the set pieces around you are just stellar, and the way they have everything, looks really old. It looks really messed up. the stuff that needs to look organic looks organic, and it kind of moves and breathes in a weird sci-fi way, and it's just, I don't know, it's very well done, but they keep making me walk down into the dark, dank underbelly of the city with my freaking flashlight, and I just almost can't handle it. It is because there's stuff in the dark, there's things going bump in the night, and I don't like it. I don't like having the flashlight down in the dark. It really gets to me, and so I'm just like, I got to get through. I hope this isn't the whole game. I got to get through this tunnel stuff. I finally figured out. I'm like picking up the gas cans and throwing them ahead of me now, and just blowing them up, and just hoping maybe I can kill somebody before they get to me. Kill one of these monsters.
That was the first thing I noticed in VR was that, and a lot of people don't think about this until it's too late, which it sounds like you did, Bo. But in VR, the big difference, like we grew up, playing Resident Evil or whatever, and, but in VR, you can't look away. So like if you're standing in the dark room, you're standing in the dark room. You can't turn on a light. You can't look away from the screen. You're there in the dark room. It's a different feeling.
It's terrifying. I hate it. I hate it so much. But I also am like, this game is so good, I can't stop playing it. I want to finish it. I want to see where this goes. Yeah.
Man, I remember watching, what was the zombie movie with Will Smith?
I Am
Legend. Afterwards, you're like super aware of everything outside. Every little noise in the house or the wind blowing outside the room. It's like, I can only imagine if it's in VR.
Yeah, and it feels like half of the games on the Quest Store are zombie games. Like it's like every other game is a zombie game. That's what it feels like. I know that's probably not true, but
there's a lot of zombie games, because I think one of the easy like control inputs to put in VR is shooting things, and then it's a bit dark to shoot real people, so let's just make them zombies, and then it makes everybody feel a little bit better. I think that's what ends up happening in the industry.
Okay. So I also played through and finished the original Arizona Sunshine. Another zombie game, but that one is, as the title implies, mostly in the sunshine, in the Arizona desert, and that one like didn't bother me at all.
That one's fun. Fun.
Also a lot less realistic, and a lot very cheesy. But it was a pretty fun time. I could have done without the excessive cursing, but other than that, it was a pretty good time. I played a lot, you guys. I have a list. Those were a couple of the things. I also finished. No, I didn't finish. I'm on the final boss of Hogwarts Legacy. And that game is really good. I really enjoyed Hogwarts Legacy a lot. I'm on the last boss, which takes place over like 3 tiers, and there's like save point at the end of each one. And I'm on the last one, but it's the longest one, and I only have 1 health potion left. And I'm stuck at this save point. I can abort the mission, but I'm like, I don't want to start over. So I'm just trying to beat it with 1 health potion, and it's pretty tough. So I don't know. I might have to abort and start that last mission over again. But it's been a really fun game, really gorgeous game. Looks like it's going to get some enhancements on the PS5 Pro. But I don't know. I'm pretty happy with the way it looks right now. So, yeah, it's been a fun game. I also did a quick run through Batman Arkham Knight, bringing it back to the Arkham series, because I'm really excited about Arkham Shadow coming to Quest 3. Cannot wait. That is my number one anticipated game of the year. And so I've been playing back through some of the older ones. And Arkham Knight, I think, has the weakest story of all of them. I'm going to put that out there. I think it has the weakest dialogue and the weakest story. But it's still a really fun game, and it's probably the biggest game. It's the most ambitious of all of the original 4, but for sure has the most to do. But the main campaign itself, I think, is the weakest story. It's not bad. It's just the other ones are so good.
Yeah.
So, but I still enjoyed it playing through it again. I hadn't played through it since 2021. I guess I played through it last, and yeah, it's a good game. But
is that the one with Nightwing and there's one with all 4 in Batgirl and everyone?
You're
Nightwing shows
Knights.
Gotham Knights, yeah.
Gotham Knights. You play as you don't play as Batman in Gotham Knights. Yeah, it's sort of. I don't consider that one of the Arkham games.
It's technically not in that universe, so
yeah.
But you do get to play as Nightwing, if I remember right.
Yeah.
I know you get to play as Robin, and there's a DLC you get to play as Batgirl. And there was multiplayer.
No, you can pick. You can pick any 4 of them: Red Hood, Nightwing, Robin, or Batgirl. You can play as any 4 of them in that game. I'm pretty sure.
Awesome.
But in Arkham Knight, there is DLC that includes a Batgirl DLC. That's a different story.
That's what I was talking about.
Oh, okay. Sorry. Yeah. That Batgirl DLC in Arkham Knight is actually really good. It's really good.
Probably the best part of the game, story wise.
Yeah, it was very good. And her moveset and stuff is really cool. So yeah, I enjoy it.
Awesome, man.
The tank combat, top tier.
The tank combat is really good. My only frustration with the tank stuff is that most of the at least half of the Riddler trophies you have to use the Batmobile to get them, and there's 400 of them.
Yeah.
I've always gotten all the Riddler trophies in every Arkham game. I couldn't do it in Arkham Knight. I got to about 170 or something like that, and then realized there weren't 200. There was 400 because there's always been 200 before. And I said, I can't do this anymore. It's time to move on. So,
my biggest, I tongue-in-cheek said the tank combat because it was so repetitive. And it didn't feel like there was much to it on that side of things, but the traversal was amazing, getting to just slam through things with the Batmobile.
Yeah, that's what I like. I like the traversal. I like being able to, you can shoot out of the Batmobile and glide really fast to a location. I like that. It feels really good. So what I did, Zach, in this run through to avoid it being repetitive is that I just stuck to the main campaign, and sometimes I would run into some guys and I would just keep driving, and then they would if I didn't have to fight them, I would just keep driving. And it didn't feel repetitive to me this time through at all.
Okay. There you go.
That's kind of like I played Horizon Zero Dawn. I didn't do any of the cauldrons or anything. I just went through the storyline as quickly as I could, fast traveled and everything. So I think I missed a lot on that. But I mean, I got that special armor. I watched a video where the guy showed you how to get into that desert section before you were actually supposed to go in there. by sort of bypassing the gate. So when you go to the sections where you get the power cells to get the special armor, there's no enemies there. So, kind of cheated on that one, but
It's okay. It's all right.
I didn't want to struggle, and I heard you needed that armor to not struggle.
Exactly. And that's something that I have realized, like, is like there's some games I'm okay with, like, dealing with the challenge, but then there's other games I just want to enjoy playing. I don't want to feel like I am doing an uphill battle. Like, the Souls games always look really cool and have an interesting lore, but I'm like, nah, I'm good. I don't want to be frustrated.
Yeah.
I was a guy who, when I was growing up, I always wanted to crank up the difficulty because I wanted it to match the danger. Like if I was in danger, I wanted it to feel dangerous. I wanted to, make the boss actually be a boss or whatever. But now, like, especially with how many games are out now and like how little time I have, like, I don't want to get stuck on like one ad that just pops out of anywhere on a boss. And like, I can't beat this boss because my health gets chopped in half every time I get damaged or what, it's just, I can't, I don't have time to struggle.
I love top-down RPGs, but the one thing that frustrates me is some of them are just too, what's the word? Too grindy. You have to grind out, spend hours just farming stuff and killing monsters just to get a one level, which gives you +1 damage on your sword or something. So Albion, for example, it just feels a little bit too much.
When I was a kid, it was nice to have like these cool things to do that would take a long time. But like now it's just like completely reversed. I tried to play a little bit of Warframe, and I used to play it here and there. And I was like, you know what, I'm gonna pick it up. I'm gonna try to actually dig into Warframe because the characters look cool and all that.
They do.
I got this weapon. I did like 10 battles to get all the pieces of this weapon or whatever. And I get back to my ship and I put it into the whatever thing that's supposed to piece them together. And it's like, okay, yeah, sure. Try, like, come back in 3 days when it's built. I'm like, I can't.
Come on.
I just.
Was that Space Marine 2?
I can't remember which one it was. Like, it was just some. I mean, I literally probably had only played like 4 hours of gameplay, but it was some weapon, some gun or sword or something, and it just, it actually had a timer, so it's like I had to wait.
Wow.
Like it said like 79 hours or something like that. It's like
it feels like a mobile game. It's like, hey, pay to get it faster.
Yeah, exactly.
Zach knows all about mobile games. Those are his favorite.
Hey, I quit it. I got out of the mobile game. I was like,
you deleted it, huh?
After our episode, I was like, I feel judged, and I'm going to I'm going to delete it.
Oh man, that's funny. I agree with you guys that sometimes, man, when I was younger, it was my pride. It's like, I'm the best at this. I got to crank it up to, playing Halo on Legendary because, that's just what you do. And now I'm just like, just put it on easy and let's just get through the story. I don't have time for this. And I remember one of the last games I played like that, where I gave up because of the grinding, like you're saying, Yako, was Xenoblade Chronicles X on the Wii U. I beat the whole game. I did a bunch of the side content. I had leveled up, I thought, pretty high, and I was able to get to the final boss. I had leveled up and done all the things and gotten to the final boss. The final boss wiped the floor with me because I was too weak. And it was like, I had to go back out and start grinding out. Like I needed to level up like another 20 levels or something to be able to take on the final boss. And I got about 10 and I was like, why am I spending all this time? I can't. I don't have this kind of time anymore. So I never finished that game because for some reason they let you play through all the story and get to, I don't remember what it was. Like I was level like 80 or 90, but I needed to be like 115 or 120 or something. I can't remember what it was, but I just don't have time for that. So sometimes sometimes I just put it on easy or at least normal and play through it that way.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, definitely. I mean, I enjoy the story, so I want to go through that and see what happens. Not necessarily be
Which
the
one is
best
that?
at it.
Horizon Zero Dawn.
Horizon specifically was a freaking awesome story. So that's why I was pushing to grind it out. Well, I was skipping as much as I could because I wanted to see what happens.
Yeah.
So it was really good story.
Yeah. I think Arkham City's story is great. I hope you enjoy it.
So far looking good. I've got now the way the Riddler infects Batman with his own blood. So not the Riddler, Joker.
Yeah.
And so that's
Arkham Origins, the best story of them all.
Arkham Origins is my favorite story of all of them.
Same.
Yeah.
Okay, I was not being facetious. Like it's such a good
It really
story.
is. It really is my favorite. And people like dump on that game. Like it's not as good, and it
The
has had
combat
issues, but
it's not as good. But the story
is so good.
played around Christmas.
Yeah,
Played around Christmas.
it's a Christmas thing.
I'm gonna get into that.
You can usually get it on Steam on sale pretty cheap too.
Yeah.
Corny's playing Dragon Ball games on his RP4 Pro.
Really?
That's cool. Hey, Corny, how's that RP4 Pro? Like, what's your favorite thing about it? Or is there anything you don't like about it? I'd like to hear that. Budokai 1, some of 2, now I'm on 3. Yeah,
Boys.
very nice.
I am so stoked for Sparking Zero. I am.
Yeah, it looks cool.
I'm like, okay, Sparking Zero. I am in it to win it. I cannot wait to see the what if stories. Like everything that they show, I'm just like, give it to me. I need this Dragon Ball Z game now. And we're getting like GT and Super and Dragon Ball Z. So we're getting like everything. And I think we're getting some Dragon Ball stuff as well. So I'm stoked.
Does that drop next? Is that next month, Zach?
Yep. It's October 20th, I want to say.
Ooh.
Yeah, it's in October. I can't remember the exact date.
Sparking Zero. I'm looking it up right now.
I think I saw some gameplay on that. I don't know if it was Zero, but it looked awesome.
Oh, it says the 10th of November. It was October.
It was October.
They
pushed it back. They delayed it.
Curses.
Interesting. Because I think it was October 10th. I thought it was like
Okay, now
I know it says 11th.
Yeah, but the other Bandai Namco said, okay, so October 11th, but the other website said Bandai Namco Europe. Ha!
Europe. Yeah, Europe's getting it later.
Sucks to be you.
So what? It's releasing in the US first, or?
Yep.
Yeah.
They're in Japan.
So probably going to come to Africa at a later stage as well. Sorry for all the fans in Africa.
Couldn't you just use a VPN?
Probably, but yeah, I'm unfortunate. I'm not a big fan.
Yeah, I understand.
Yeah, it's a very specific taste. I mean, the anime series, the fights were just too long for me. You know, where the guy spends half the episode charging up to blast the other hook.
Yeah,
that was a bit fun. Sorry, guys. No offense.
You're good.
No, yeah.
We all like different things. It's fine.
Yeah, absolutely.
I just never really got into that, unfortunately.
Yeah. Well, especially like the old, like they did a version called Kai where they didn't have as much of that filler in there.
Yeah.
That might be more up your alley, but yeah, the newer anime is definitely a lot faster pace.
Okay.
Yeah. I can give you some recommendations later, Jocko.
Yeah.
If Derek ever comes on, he's
Yeah,
He's a big
it is a
fan,
juice box.
yeah. But like, what are you hitting the apple juice tonight?
It's
Like
apple juice. Yeah.
Ah,
Yeah. Not sponsored. Just Just apple juice.
He puts his steroids in there, guys, so he can like get ripped.
So it's funny you bring that up because I have one more game that I've been playing. And I'm kind of embarrassed to talk about it, but
It's a mobile game, guys. Here we go.
No, it's a VR game, but it's Les Mills Body Combat because I have I'm not in like the best of shape, and I would like to be in better shape, and so I bought this game. It's a workout game. It's not really a game, but you do like it brings up scores of what other people have done, and you compete against them, and you watch their scores go up while yours goes up. And so these avatars of these other people come up, and some of them look like grandmas. Some of them look like grandmothers, and I'm like, I can't let this grandmother beat me. And so I'm like, I'm getting into the combat, and I'm punching a little harder. And I'm like, grandma can't beat me. Come on, let's go. But I've been playing that for about 3 days, and I think I'm gonna make a video out of it and do like how I felt on day 1 versus how I feel on day 30, and do like a 30-day challenge thing with it. So that's my plan right now.
Well, I've used Supernatural. It's a workout app on
I've
Quest.
seen that one.
Yeah, it's subscription based, so boo, but it's actually pretty good.
This one has a ton of DLCs, but there was no subscription, so that's why I picked it.
Keeps you motivated.
The score is actually, I was like, man, I don't want anybody knowing my score. But then I started playing it, and it actually was keeping me motivated to keep going because I didn't want to lose. So,
Good. Combine gaming with exercise, eh?
Yeah, it's pretty cool. And it's weird because they like the controllers and the headset tracks your motion. So the coaches in the game will like give you feedback if your form is wrong. They'll be like, "No, you didn't duck your shoulder back far enough," or like they'll like tell you like how to improve your form so you get the moves better. And I was like, yeah, that's kind of neat.
I remember boxing on the Wii, so that was got me quite it keeps you kind of interested and keeps you going. So I can only imagine on VR, must be awesome.
Yeah. On VR, it's great. There's a title called Thrill of the Fight, and it's kind of like a long-standing boxing fitness app, and they just announced that they're releasing another one with more modern graphics and things like that. So people are really excited about it. I have used it. I mean, for all intents and purposes, you're shadow boxing. So you work up a pretty good cardio sweat,
Yeah, I've definitely worked up a sweat and been breathing pretty heavy. And my one of the reasons I'm not in as good a shape as I used to be is because I actually have tendonitis in both of my shoulders, and so I haven't used my shoulders really for anything in a couple of years. And I can feel it like in my neck, like back here on my back, all those muscles around your shoulder, just burning like crazy. But it's been good so far, and I've just done like the light, like they have light and medium and heavy workouts, and I've just been doing the light ones every night, and those are enough for now, but we might kick it up to medium next week sometime.
So
I thought you were gonna say you're not in good shape because you really love juice boxes.
No, I do love juice boxes.
I got I'm looking for the right word. I'm taken out at work because I used to take juice boxes to work, so I got named JB at work.
I love it.
Awesome. That's awesome.
JB.
Oh my Lord. That's great.
Oh, that's funny. That's really funny.
Yeah, I know.
Oh man.
I love it.
Well, so Yugi was gonna kind of lead the next section of our podcast, but he had a family emergency and he's not gonna be able to make it. So prayers for him. And so we're just gonna move on to the Switch 2 leaks tonight, and talk about some of this stuff. There's been some rumors that popped up this last week. Some prototype type stuff that had leaked, and I'll try to bring up a picture here in a second. But did you guys see these leaks, these pictures?
Yep.
Zach,
Yeah.
you did. I know. Yako said he heard it, but he didn't see the pictures yet. Try to get him
Only
here.
of the frame. I saw the one of the frame that they released.
Was it this one?
No. It was an actual picture of a section of the frame with a motherboard,
This here?
and they were saying that it should have been that one.
Yeah. Whoa. Yeah. So
It looks genuine because of the casing being like injection molded, and the board, you couldn't fake that apparently. So
I don't know. I don't think you could I don't know how you would fake the board
no.
unless you like ordered something from PCBWay or something like that. But
Yeah.
I don't know. Anyway, these are the pictures, and honestly, it just kind of looks like these are CAD drawings, not like actual units. Some people have been saying that this is what it looked like. This was like a prototype from last year, so not necessarily something that was just manufactured. But I don't know. What do you guys think about that part of it? The look of it. What do you think about the look of it? If this is real at all.
What's going on with my camera?
I don't know much about the Switch, but I mean, what I'm hearing is that it looks like it then might be an 8-inch screen, so a bit of a larger screen. And obviously, the processor, from what I've read, isn't that powerful. But that's Nintendo. They've never really gone for the most powerful thing on the market, but yet they've been able to dominate the market with the games and stuff. So it looks interesting. I mean, if they can produce the same type of gameplay and stuff they've done with the Switch 1, it'll be it, I guess.
Yeah. It is supposed to have an 8-inch screen supposedly, and it looks like from those pictures. I actually pulled up. I had two different tabs pulled up, and I pulled up the wrong one. And try to get the right one this time. It looked like from those pictures, though, that there is potentially a card slot for the Switch cartridges to go into. Where was that? Okay, yeah, right here. Right here, you can kind of see it right there, like a spot where it might go. So that's good news, because that's something that I think a lot of people have been concerned about is, will this be backwards compatible with the original Switch? And we all hope so. We all hope so, right?
Yeah.
I want to keep that library. It looks okay, flat again. Yeah, it flat again for sure, Kyle. And I was really kind of hoping it would be a little more ergonomic, but I also knew it probably wouldn't be if they were sticking with this same design or same idea of being able to take the controllers off the sides and share them and use them that way as a controller. The back almost needs to be flat, otherwise you have a weird shaped. If it's rounded in some way, it's going to feel weird. It's not going to feel symmetrical in your hand, is what I'm trying to say. So I think it almost has to be flat like this. I think it'll be more comfortable. I think it almost looks a little thicker to me. And obviously, longer. It's bigger. And with the, how do I get out of this? With the whole thing being larger, these Joy-Con will have to be longer as well, and probably wider to make the ratio here look right.
Yeah,
Is that an SSD drive bay in there? Sorry, I'm wondering.
It looks like it
right here.
So why would you use an SSD in one of these? I'd rather go NVMe.
an SSD.
Yeah.
So this is for which part are you talking about?
The
This
bigger
here?
part.
That part, yeah. No, the black part you got over there.
This is for the battery. This is the battery enclosure.
Okay, yeah, no, it will probably, yeah, that makes more
Um,
sense.
Yeah, unfortunately, it looks kind of small, and there's some concern there that they will clock the CPU really low
Yeah,
because the battery
Yeah.
to keep the battery life up because the battery looks kind of small.
Yeah, I read about that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hopefully, we'll get
But-
rid of the baby buttons.
Well, that's what I'm saying is that if they're going to keep this proportional, I'm wondering if these buttons and even the joystick will be larger than they were
Yeah.
previously. Because this looks kind of like the Joy-Con looks right now.
Hmm.
But if this is wider and longer, then I think these are bigger buttons. Wouldn't you think so?
One can hope. I want, like, I'll use my Pro controller over the Joy-Cons at this point, but yeah, I hope they are.
Did the original Joy-Cons have triggers at the back?
Yep.
Yeah, they did.
Okay.
Yeah, they have bumpers and triggers.
Look, I love the whole idea of disconnecting your controller and using them separately. I've played around with the Legion Go, and on one of the shows, tech shows we had here in SA.
Yeah.
I like that idea a lot. But yeah, so I would get it just for that almost. But yeah, sure.
Here, what do you think this right here in the middle is?
Is that just the hook that keeps it on, or
I don't
maybe
know.
not? I don't know.
There,
Well,
I'm not sure. It almost
the
looks like
rumor
a
is-
charging port or something.
Yeah. The rumor is that they're going to be magnetic
Right.
this time around. So they could be some sort of part that has like a different part of the magnet that needs to attach to it instead of like the clicking mechanism that we got this last time around.
But it's got to have some kind of contact to be able to charge as well, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's
Should
just
have that somewhere.
drop a penny in there, pay as you play. Yeah, Nintendo would love that.
Yeah, don't give
Yeah.
them
They would
any
absolutely
ideas,
love that.
Kyle.
Yeah, I mean, the old arcade machines. I remember dropping 20 cents into there, to play a game.
Oh man, yeah.
One thing that I thought was interesting, I'm looking over at IGN. So the original Switch had 4 gigs of RAM.
Right.
The new one is going to have 12 gigs of RAM.
Yes.
And
Do you have the spec sheet there? Can you
Yeah.
show it to us? Because I was about to look that up, but if you already have it,
Yeah, I'll show it to you.
because that is one of the
sheet,
things
huh?
is 12 gigs of RAM. And I was watching another guy who,
If you'll allow me to.
yeah, here we go. 12 gigs, which is more than the Xbox Series S has. And apparently there's going to be about a gig of that will be used for the OS. We're assuming a gig to a gig and a half, and the rest will be for the game. So roughly 10 and a half gigs of that will be utilized for the games itself, which would be a huge leap forward over the original Switch. So that's good news.
And then-
I'm assuming the OS on this is Linux based, eh?
Is the
I don't
Switch
know.
OS right now? Because I actually don't know that if it is or
I don't
not.
know either. I don't know either.
I don't know, but I kind of don't. I don't think that I don't know how much the OS is going to change.
It's a proprietary
Okay.
microkernel architecture is based on the Nintendo 3DS system software.
Okay,
Really?
that's their own firmware.
Mm-hmm. I'm hoping like we're getting a big boost, 8 more gigs of RAM, which is huge. Internal storage is going up considerably, but with games getting bigger and bigger, that doesn't really matter. You're still going to have to get, an SD,
An SD
card.
card. Yeah.
My hope is that all the RAM is the same speed, because one of the issues that Xbox is running into right now is that part of their RAM is like there's two different sets, like 8 of it is like a certain speed and the other is like another speed, and that's why Black Myth Wukong can't play on the Xbox right now, is because it does something weird with it. But PlayStation, all their RAM runs at the same speed, so hopefully Nintendo has the forethought on that. I know it is going to cost more when you have RAM that runs at the same speed if it's a higher speed.
So my understanding is that this right here and this right here are where the RAM would be, but I could be wrong about that. I'm not entirely sure. But what I did read was that it was all LPDDR5 RAM or 5X or something RAM. So I think it is all the same.
Yeah, it's 7,500 mega transfer. So 7,500 megahertz around there. So pretty fast.
Yeah. So that'll be good too. The real question for me is what's going to go in this this socket right here. What are they going to put there? What's really powering this thing? That's my biggest question. But apparently it is going to support, it's going to be from NVIDIA, probably some kind of custom chip, and it's going to support DLSS. So the speculation right now, and again, none of this is official,
confirmed,
is that this will support up to 4K, upscaling to 4K, not 4K native when it's docked. Which would be a whole new world for Nintendo. And I it's going to be interesting to see, because their games, their file sizes for their first party games tend to be relatively small. When you have to move up to higher end, assets and textures and all of that, it'll be a new world for them. It'll be something different. So I'm interested to see how it's going to turn out.
But I mean, that's something that everybody wants. Everybody's got a 4K TV currently, so
right.
It's one of the.
I don't.
I inherited mine, so.
Yeah, I don't actually have a TV. I have a monitor, but so I have this theory about like the whole resolution issue, because me and my buddies would argue about like the Xbox 360 when we were going to the Xbox One. And I actually moved over to PC because it was just like these consoles were chasing resolution that they could never reach. I'm like, well, it's already there on PC. Just go buy a PC, right? So the problem though, it's like with 4K TVs, it's like if you game on like a 1440p monitor, or if you game on a 1080p TV, it looks fine. So it's like we keep increasing the size of the jar and then complaining that we can't fill it with marbles. It's like. It's like just game with a lower resolution screen and it won't look as bad. But yeah, sub 4K looks kind of rough on a 4K monitor, but it's, I don't know.
I've got a 55
I agree.
inch. I've got a 55-inch 4K TV, so you definitely notice.
You can tell,
difference, on a large monitor like that.
Yeah.
I heard someone talking. I know this is kind of on the topic that Jason was bringing up. That like I can tell like photography, videography, all of that. Well, videography, when something is 60 frames, 30 frames, 24, and then 120. But when it comes to games, like frame rate, I don't really see, but
above
resolution.
60.
Yeah, it's like resolution I can see, and it's like they were. I can't remember. I think it was kind of funny talking about it. It was like, is it just because like older gamers only see resolution and like younger gamers are seeing like frame rates? And I'm like, all right. What do y'all think about that? Because like
I
don't see it.
Definitely can see the resolution difference for sure. I can also, so when I get a new game, and actually, so I was playing Hogwarts Legacy this week, and this is a great example of this. I started playing the game in fidelity mode, and fidelity mode is only 30 FPS. And I did that because I wanted it to look as good as it could. And I knew that if I played it in performance mode at 60 frames a second first, I wouldn't be able to go down to the 30 frames, because I can tell a huge difference. If I start in 60 and go to 30, that is very jarring. But if I just start at 30, I'm totally fine. I
was
can
going to
play
say the
almost
same
anything
thing
at 30.
Yeah, I was going to say the same thing. It's like if you play, if you compare it 1-to-1, like if you play something in 60 frames, I think I played Gears of War multiplayer in 60 frames for like I got on PC. Then like I went back to Xbox and it was at 30, and it looked like a flip book. Like I could barely stare at it, right? But on that note, Zach, like you were saying, like you can see resolution. I feel like the issue that we keep dealing with consoles, bringing it back to like the Switch 2, is that we keep saying, oh, it's going to be better, it's going to do so much more, but then you end up having those mismatches where it's like, okay, it has a 4K display, but now the games can kind of get to 4K, or you have to upscale or something like that, or it can do 4K 60, or it can do 60 frames, but this game has to do 30. But this one can do 60. So we can't we have to get to a point where we can just sit still and say, okay, yes, everything is 4K, everything is 60. Going back and forth ends up just kind of.
That's one of the frustrations I have with the PS5 Pro, is that they've already admitted that not every game that has enhancements for the PS5 Pro is going to play at 60 frames per second. Some of them are still going to be at 30 frames per second. I'm like, well, then what was the point? Because what was the point of going from PS4 to PS5? We thought we were going to get 60 frames per second on the PS5 on everything,
8K.
and then we didn't.
8K.
Yeah, they put 8K on the box, and and that never happened, except for one game.
And then they took it off the box.
Yeah, they did take it off the box, and
but I mean,
now they're saying it's the same thing. It's the same cycle, because they're like, we need to update the hardware so that we can do what we want to do, but then they push it just as far as they did before, so you end up getting the same results as you did before, and that's got to stop at some point, because it's making them all go bankrupt. I mean, if we're being honest, they're spending so much time making it look look better that they can't put out a game.
Well, and it's distracting. What was the pirate game? Was it like
Skull and Bones?
Yeah, Skull and Bones. Yeah, we end up with situations like that where it's like, I just paid a group of 15 people to make the water look really, really good, but nobody likes the game, or the fire effects are just amazing, but it's like, what am I doing in the game? So we're spending all this time on trying to get things to render in these ultra high resolutions and ultra high frame rates. It's a waste of time. We need good games, not necessarily super shiny ones.
Right. I completely agree.
Marvel movies, that's 100% Kyle.
Yes, Marvel movies.
Yeah.
Story matters. I completely agree. Transformers.
It's a Transformer.
Transformers, The Last Night is probably the worst movie I've ever seen in my entire life.
It's all about effects, eh? There's very little story that's very engaging, eh?
Anthony Hopkins, guys. I'm just saying. Sorry, Sir Anthony Hopkins. Is he a sir? I don't know.
It seems like he should be. Yeah, who knows? So
Transformers 1 looks good though. I have to say, it looks interesting.
The original Transformers, I think, was the best one of all of them. Anyway, so back to Switch. So that was one of my questions I was going to ask you guys: is will these specs be powerful enough, or is it just going to be the same thing we've faced this generation, where we get new hardware from Nintendo, but it's already behind the curve? And then we've got third-party developers who want to jump in on this new system, but they can't. There's no parity between the other consoles, so they have to give us a lesser version, a downgraded version for it to run on Switch. And then 7 years from now, we're in this spot where we are now. Is it all gonna be the same cycle again that we've seen from this generation of Switch, or is there hope for it to be better this time?
So Switch sold crazy, so I don't think they're going to push it. They're going to upgrade it just enough, and yeah, other people want to put their games on Switch, but Nintendo doesn't really care. They sold like 140 million consoles. They finally outsold the Wii with the Switch, and this is the first time I feel like we're not going to really get a gimmick from Nintendo. I think they're going to play this way safer than they've ever done.
Yeah.
Those are just my thoughts on it.
Agreed. I kind of get the feeling they're not interested in being the best graphics out there. I mean, it's working. They've got good games on a console that's very popular. So I don't know if they're going to mess with that.
Yeah, I think I think there's something, Zach, you were talking about being an old gamer. I'm in that boat. And something I noticed is that we were in a trajectory where we watched gaming improve over time. We saw hardware improve over time, and we couldn't wait. We went to these went from these really low polys to just like super sharp stuff. And it was amazing to see it, right? But you look at Gen Z and even Gen Alpha now, and like they just want to play games. Like they don't really care as much because they weren't there for that like climb. So like you look at something like Fortnite, they don't care what it looks like. They just want to play Fortnite. It's just it's like they didn't see it when it looked really bad, so they don't care. Everything looks relatively good now, so it's not as important. I think Nintendo understands that, especially about the audience that would buy a Switch.
Yeah. Like Kyle said here, Nintendo is usually focused on the gaming, not the graphics, and that's true. Now you say that, and that is true, but Mario Odyssey is an amazing looking game.
Breath of the Wild.
Breath of the Wild is an incredible looking game, and when you think about retro gaming, some of the best looking retro games, when you upscale them to modern monitors, are Nintendo first party games. Like most of the time, those graphics just age so well, and they continue to do that over and over again, generation after generation.
I think that screams something to be mentioned about art style versus graphics.
Yeah,
I think I see that a lot with modern games where sure it's super sharp and it's super shiny and there's like the RTX stuff, but I don't get a good vibe of the game as a whole. Like that's why something like Breath of the Wild, where you could argue that it's cell shaded or whatever, but the universe looks good no matter how you look at it, right? If you stripped out the super high resolution of some of these modern games, they would be pretty crap. It just wouldn't be great. It's just because I can see the raindrops on the concrete, that's awesome. But if you take that away, then you just have nothing.
Right.
Man, I'll tell you, I do. I mean, I really want to experience some good ray tracing, with reflections in games and that type of thing. I haven't been able to do that on the current laptop I have. Just not powerful enough. But just from the videos I've seen, that looks awesome in games like Tomb Raider and so on. So something to be said for good graphics, But story is more important to me at the end of the day, definitely.
Yeah.
Or gameplay, yeah.
Well, and like you look at a game like Okami. I don't know if any of y'all ever played Okami. Absolutely beautiful. It's like a PlayStation 2 game. You play as like a dog, and it's like cell shaded. It's absolutely gorgeous, and it holds up because, to Jason's point, the art direction is the whole point. It's not this hyper realistic graphics. Back in the day, it was a art direction, and it just looks amazing. Same thing with Journey. It had an art direction. It wasn't going for hyper realism. It was going for a visual thing, and that's the thing that I love about games. Yes, I love a good looking game. I cannot wait for Ghost of Yotai. Like, it looks amazing. Ghost of Tsushima was one of my favorite games of all time.
Yeah.
But it's like, if the story isn't there, you can have the best looking game
That's true.
in the world, but it's going to be crap.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's just like unfortunate that we're in this place where it seems like developers are picking you need story, gameplay, and art direction. And it seems like they're having to pick one of the three and leave the other two out.
Right.
And it doesn't work that way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a triangle of doom.
Yeah. Do you want it good and fast? Well, you can't have it
exactly.
cheap.
Exactly. Good, fast, and cheap. Yeah.
Yeah. Yep.
Well, I had another question about this, and that's, what do you think the launch titles or a launch title for Switch 2 should be? I know I have mine, but what do you guys think about?
Obviously, some kind of Mario game. I was thinking, so would they go beyond Odyssey? I don't know.
I'm still disappointed they never had Planet DLC for Odyssey.
Oh my god, it would have been so good.
It was why didn't they do that? It was just low hanging fruit, money for the taking. Anyway.
I'll put in a weird request. I would just like, it would make me. I actually sold my Switch because I loved it so much, and I just couldn't be a functioning adult with such a great gaming device in my hand all the time. But I would come back. This is weird. This is not going to happen. But I would come back if they put a new Splinter Cell on it. I would buy it in a heartbeat.
Man, I want a Splinter Cell so bad.
Yeah.
Like, that's literally like we're getting a animated TV show and not a new Splinter Cell from Ubisoft.
Yeah. Who's doing the voice for that? I forgot.
So that would be Ironside, is his name.
Was it Michael? Michael Ironside?
Yeah, Michael Ironside.
Yeah.
But in Blacklist, they didn't use Michael Ironside, which really ticked me off.
Yeah.
So, for me, I'm calling it. Like, we're going to get Metroid 4 on the Switch too.
I was wondering about that.
For sure.
I think that will be a launch title.
I think it will be a cross-generation title. Yeah.
Yeah, kind of like how Zelda Breath of the Wild was.
And I've been saying this for at least 2 years. I've been saying they need to use Metroid Prime 4 as their, here's what it looks like on the original Switch, and here's what it looks like on the new Switch, side by side, shots, and show off what the new Switch can do as a selling point for the new hardware. But yeah, I absolutely agree with that. I think it'll be a launch title. Yeah. Yeah. Anything else? What do you guys think? Let us know in the comments what should be a launch title for the Switch.
I definitely think we're going to get a port of Mario Kart Infinity Deluxe. Oh, we're totally and they're going to have all the tracks on there already, all the cars, and then they're going to announce we're putting more tracks on here. They're like, they don't have to make another one.
See, I think that the launch title that will sell the system is Mario Kart 9.
100%. I agree.
A new Mario Kart 9 at launch. That is what they need to do.
But what does the 8 look like on Mario Kart?
Looks like an infinite sign.
Exactly. Infinite money.
It also looks like a racetrack. It looks like a racetrack.
That's infinite.
Crazy 8.
I would love a new.
I think
3D
people
Mario.
would be really mad if they did that again, because it was on the Wii U.
Oh, I agree.
And a lot of the DLC was, some of that was on the Wii U, and then they brought it all over.
Yeah.
So that game's over 10 years old at this point. I think it's around 10 years old.
Yeah, it's quite old at this point. I don't know exactly how old it is, but I would love a new Mario. I would love for Odyssey to continue over. I know Retro was talking about Mario Galaxy, maybe we get a third one. But I feel like Astrobot has kind of got that locked down right now. So, but I know if a Mario Galaxy came out, it would crush. It would crush hard.
I don't know if they would go. They've never really gone back to something like that before. So I don't know if it would be Well, he
Yeah.
said Mario Galaxy 2, right? So would that be some kind of remaster of Mario Galaxy 2?
Maybe.
Because they did Mario Galaxy 1 in that Mario All-Star limited edition pack that they did a couple of years ago. So they could bring back Galaxy 2, yeah. But I don't know
Odyssey
about a
2.
Galaxy 3. I don't even know about an Odyssey 2. I mean,
yeah.
Odyssey 2 would do great for them, I think. But I would like to see. Did any of you guys play Bowser's Fury?
No.
It was like
wanted to, but I never did.
It came packed in with the re-release of 3D World, and it was an open world Mario. Like you didn't jump into any paintings or into any kind of like special levels. It was just all out there, and it was pretty cool. So I wouldn't mind seeing something in that style, not necessarily a Bowser's Fury 2, but something like that as the next Mario game, especially if we have a little more power and can have a bigger world loaded in at one time with more RAM. I think that would be cool.
What if we finally got justice for Waluigi, and Waluigi gets his very own game
at launch?
At launch, and it's called "I'm a Gonna Win."
Is it like a roulette game or like a
No, it's a singing game, and you have to sing like Waluigi the whole time.
It comes with a microphone.
Yep.
That's what that speculated extra USB port on the top of the console's for, to plug in an external microphone.
Yeah.
I read that they're saying that might be a camera to track.
Front-facing camera.
Yeah.
Well, something to track movement on the controllers, possibly, but it's all speculation.
Yeah. So I'm gonna win.
Is the construct a game, or are you speaking to the construct about a game he mentioned? I'm lost on that one. Bowser's Fury is great, but it is short, and that's why I'd like to see something fully fleshed out in that design style. I can't even read this, but it needs to be said in a Waluigi voice. So
we had a baby. It's a boy. It's in that old commercial. It was a commercial. I don't know if you guys remember this, but he called collect, and you only have like 12 seconds to say who you are. So he said, "It's Bob. We had a baby. It's a boy." So you could tell his family they had a baby.
So you get charged.
Yeah, I do remember that. That's funny. That's funny. Oh man. All right. So yeah, I think we're getting Metroid Prime 4. I think we're getting Mario Kart 9. We'll see. And then I don't know what else. I don't know what else they should do. That's first party.
Mario Party will be on there as well.
At some point, you think it'll be on there at launch? The new one that's coming out?
Yeah, I think they'll bring it over. I think it's the perfect, like, you're wanting games to have, like, to get people into the new console and have like that party atmosphere. That's a perfect one to do.
So let me ask you this. This is a twofold question. What do you think the price will be? We're seeing all the prices on things go up. Currently, the Switch OLED is $399. No, $350, $349. Sorry, $349. I'm thinking this is going to be more expensive. I'm also thinking it could be more than $400. What do you guys think about that? I'll just be honest. I think they don't want to go over $400, but I don't know if they have a choice because of the way things are right now. I am thinking that it will be. I'm gonna just predict it's going to be $429. It's going to be something weird. It's going to be $429.99.
And I've heard figures of $499 up to $499, but yeah, that would be a bit on the expensive side, I think.
I also think that it will be an LCD display, and they'll come out with an OLED version that's $499.99.
Probably.
That's my prediction.
Do you think it comes out of launch, the OLED? They split the SKU?
I don't know. I've asked myself this question a lot because I think it's gonna be hard to go backward from OLED back to LCD, but they still sell it the LCD model. So I don't know.
I don't know if they're willing to take the loss on an OLED at this point, though. Like, because anytime a new console launches, it's always a loss for any company. So doing LCD lessens that loss to get people to buy in, and then the games make the money, and then they can make the console for cheaper. So that's why they always release like an upgraded version down the road.
Yeah, that's usually how it goes. Yeah,
and
that's exactly right.
Splitting the SKU like how Xbox does, that's totally fine, because it's like, okay, you could have the cheaper version, but you can have the way more power. It's more power than like display based. I don't know.
See, I don't think they'll split power. I think that it'll be the same. The screen will change. Maybe it has more storage internally on the OLED model, but I think power wise it'll be just like this generation.
Yeah,
they're exactly the same. That really hasn't worked out super well for Xbox this generation. It's caused a lot of headache, I think, for a lot of people. Yeah. And I don't think that Nintendo's in the place where they want to be developing games for two separate consoles anymore. That's why they got out of, I think that's why they got out of the 3DS stuff and went straight, Switch. I could be wrong, but that's just what I think about it.
Price wise, I think we're, with the OLED being $350, this being a new console and the times we live in, I'm thinking right $450. Easy to start with. I don't think they go, well, like $550 would be this high as I think they would dare to go, because again, like the Switch sells really well, and them doing like the Switch Lite, they sold gangbusters on those. So like they've got to be somewhat affordable for people to be able to get them in their hands. So
right.
No, it's interesting because AMD is also pursuing that strategy with their graphics cards. Apparently, they trying to capture. They want to increase their market share, but obviously 80% of the market is not people who can afford the most expensive graphics card with the highest performance. So it's a good strategy in my opinion, because you want to capture the largest share of the market. So yeah. Not everybody, or less people can afford that kind of top tier hardware.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think it's going to be, we see the sticker shock with the PS5 Pro, and I'm afraid people are going to be a little shocked because they expect Nintendo to be cheaper, because it just always has been, for the most part, at least for a couple of decades now. It has been. So it's going to be hard if it comes in at $499. I think that's going to be hard for people to adjust to when it's currently $299. Yeah. I think they want to sell it as cheaply as they can, because you're right, Zach. They do make their money back on software sales. I can't remember how many, what the software sale total is right now that we heard. It's something like 1.21 billion software titles sold on the Switch, something like that. The last count that I saw, it's big. They will make the money back there, but they're a company. They're not here to be our friend. They're here to make money and provide entertainment, but to make money. And so it is going to be more expensive. I have no doubt of that, but I just don't know how much more expensive it will be.
1.23 billion software sales.
There you go. Yeah. That's a lot of software.
Yeah.
Just to throw this out here, I know Jason hasn't said anything on price yet, but with them not going, okay, we're going 6K, 8K, like all this crazy stuff. the tech could actually be cheaper because it's been more mass produced. So their top line cost will be less than what the PlayStation 5 and Xbox have been at the beginning of their cycle. So yes, it will be more cost, but I think chipsets are way easier to get right now than they were at the beginning of the pandemic. So that cost is down.
Yeah.
So I feel like they were smarter about this, like letting their cycle go longer, because I feel like their bottom line is going to be healthier.
Yeah.
And hopefully this is pie in the sky, guys. They put out Switch 2, that becomes the OLED price, the $350, and everything else gets cheaper. Like they bring it down. But that is pie in the sky.
I think they could keep, their current Switch on the market for a little while, and continue to sell it at a reduced price. I don't know. I think most of their manufacturing dollars are going to go into the new one, obviously.
Yeah.
But there's probably plenty of stock out there too, to still sell through.
And like, I'll just address the elephant in the room. I would say that it has to stay under 500, sub 500.
Yeah.
I think the cheaper pricing is part of the Switch brand at this point. I think when you're looking at the consuming market that's looking for a Switch, it's like you want great gaming for less money because it's not a PlayStation 5, or because it's not an Xbox Series X, because it's not a PC. It's a mobile. Yeah, the graphics are always just a few steps behind the big boys. So you're looking for that like cheaper price. Like once they cross 500, they're dangerously getting close into being in the same market as other devices, and I don't think they want to do that.
I don't think they do either. You would have to be, I think, closer to the same in terms of power to get up there, but you do have to consider that you do get an included screen with a Switch and speakers. Like it's the whole package is right there, so that is something.
And hey, they sell iPhones for $1,500.
They do. When they first came out with this, I thought they were going to adopt that model, and like every couple of years, we were going to get a new Switch, but that didn't happen. I also still fully believe that the Switch Pro was real, and they didn't do it because of the pandemic and inflation. And that's when we got the OLED. I think the OLED was supposed to be a Switch Pro, but a mid-gen refresh, but it wasn't because of cost. We may never know if that was ever a thing, but that's what I speculate. And so we might know soon about the Switch 2. There's a lot of people that thought that announcement was going to come in September. I was never one of those people, but a lot of people thought it would come. And there's a lot of people that think it's going to be October now. There seems to be more and more people thinking October's the month they're going to announce something. That's what they did. It was October when they announced the original Switch at like 6 a.m. I think where I was. I remember setting an alarm and waking up just so I could watch the reveal of Nintendo's new console. I rolled over in bed and grabbed my phone and watched it, and then fell back asleep afterwards. But so they might do October. I personally still think it's going to be next spring. I think they're going to wait till March and wait one more holiday cycle to sell the Switch. That's what I think. But
yeah,
who knows? We'll see. Time will tell. But cool. Any other thoughts on the Switch 2? We're gonna hit this as fast as we can because I know it's getting late. But the PlayStation State of Play was tonight at what time was it? 3 p.m. Pacific.
5 p.m. Central Time.
Yeah. Zach, tell me why I'm not excited about the State of Play, and tell me why I should be excited about the State of Play.
Don't really have much for the first one. There's a lot of smaller indie games, which I tend to like, but they were a little bit more there was like a few horror games in there, which I know you wouldn't be super excited about. Some older games getting remastered. Legend of Kain is getting a remaster, which we kind of got hinted by Jeff Grubb that we were going to get a older PlayStation franchise brought back that people wouldn't be super excited about, and that was the one that he was talking about. For the things to be excited about, the Horizon Zero Dawn remaster is coming. It will be on PlayStation 5, PC, on Epic and Steam. If you have the PlayStation 4 version of the game, you can actually upgrade for $9.99 on that, so you don't have to buy the whole entire game.
I'm really, really glad that they have an upgrade path, because if they came out and said this is $70,
yeah,
because there's no reason to do you think there's a reason to have this remaster? I mean,
okay, so originally they were supposed to be putting out the show that was being produced and everything, and then it fell through. So I think this was going to be originally
alongside of it.
Yeah, and
okay,
so it was already in the pipeline, and it's coming out. They did update the models to look more akin to what they look like in Horizon
Forbidden West.
Yeah, Forbidden West. Frozen Wilds is in there as well. So they did a lot more mocap for this, and it does look really good. So super excited for that. And the biggest thing you should be excited about is...
Well, wait. I think it still looks good the way it is. Do you not think it looks good the way it is? It got like a PS5 patch. It looks better on PS5 than it did. And it got a PC port, and it looks good on PC.
I didn't play it on PC. And
Yako did.
I did. It looks more or less the same to me, just from the video I've seen.
Yeah.
But like I said, I was chatting to Zach on his podcast. If there's some DLC content in, maybe would be worth it.
Yeah.
But other than that, graphics-wise, it looks more or less the same to me.
It just seems like a waste of time. That's what it feels like to me. Like they have so few games this generation.
Yeah.
Why did they choose to do this when this is just one gen old and it has a PS5 patch already? It just seems so weird to me.
Well, Guerrilla's not working on this. It's a whole different developer that's actually doing the remaster, so it's not wasting their time. But I think there are a lot of people getting PlayStation 5s, and Forbidden West is the game on there, so they want to get one that looks as close to it. So, but the big daddy of them all would be the announcement at the end, which is the new colors for controllers. I'm just kidding. We did get 3 new controllers.
Shut up, man.
Announced, but the second Ghost of Tsushima, Ghost of Yotai. And, man, this thing is beautiful. Oh, this thing is beautiful.
Whoa. I'm going to mute that. Sorry about that.
You're good. I'm excited. We are in a total different place this time around. The combat is going to be a lot different because they're adding some new things in there.
Right.
Dual blades this time around, which is going to be crazy cool. And then we're also getting a new protagonist with this.
Yeah. A female protagonist, correct?
Yes.
Why does it keep doing that? Stop doing that.
Just go full screen. Ibushiki.
And a wolf. We get a wolf this time.
Yeah, a wolf instead of foxes. When they were first talking, I thought the wolf was talking, and I was like, okay, maybe this is a ghost. Maybe this is a ghost, but I was literally freaking out watching it on the couch with Amy. But her sword is super cool too. Like the guard on it is a wolf. So yeah.
So I did not get a chance to watch the State of Play live. I tried to catch a little bit about it afterwards, right before we got on. And am I right that this is an original story, or is this based out of a historical event like Tsushima was?
They haven't said. that I know of. All I saw was this trailer. I don't think it's going to be as tied to like an actual thing, but I might be wrong on that.
Okay. All right.
But
this next shot here, when they start running through riding the horse through the this right here, I mean, that looks stunning.
Yeah.
And Ghost of Tsushima is one of my favorite games of the last 5 years, for sure. Zach, like you said earlier, just this, and again, it was a game that had the story, the gameplay, and the graphics. It had all three, and they just came together beautifully. Excellent game. They got to show off that mud and the leaves and how real it all looks. And the fur
Jason's favorite part. Where's the rain?
But see, this one escaped the triangle of doom, though. You could take the rain out and it'd still be a good game.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's true. And it's not like I feel like the do you think this is ultra high realistic, or it has its own kind of art style to it?
Yeah, I was just gonna say
I think it could stand the test of time because it does have its own.
They soften that hyper realistic thing. It's softened just enough to like stay into the lore more than, oh, look how shiny a sword is. Like, no one cares. Like, as long as it looks good, across the entire universe.
Yeah.
And I love, like, with the first game, you could throw on like the old like samurai movie filters, and you could actually turn on the Japanese voice actors, and the lips actually animated with those lips and everything, so it felt like you were playing an old Japanese samurai film.
Really? So was it like that type of thing? Like, your comp was good. Mine's better.
Thankfully not. Thankfully not. But yeah, like they really like put in a ton of work with like the Isle of Tsushima. So I can only imagine what they're going to do with Yotai, which I've never even heard of, and I never heard of Tsushima before this either. But
sounds awesome, guys. I haven't checked it at all, but it looks awesome.
Yeah, it does. What we saw just now looked really good, really good. So that's one to keep an eye on, I think, for sure. The rest of the state of play, I don't know. It's Jason. There was some VR games in there. Interestingly, there was a Hitman VR game coming to PSVR 2.
Yes.
Is not Hitman 3, and it looks so much better.
It looks
like the Hitman 3 on Quest 3 has been like kind of a disaster from what I've seen.
I think they overshot what they thought they could do, and it just kind of crashed and burned on them like late in development, because what we got on Quest, it's like when you turned in a project and you thought it was due next week. So you just kind of slap some tape on it and say, here you go. That's what happened with the Quest release. But I feel like they have more time for the PlayStation release, and they have more hardware, more power to do it, to actually finish what they had in mind.
Right. Yeah, it looked really good.
Do you think with this, since they're doing like the whole VR announcement thing, like in the next few days, do you think that this will also be coming to the Quest?
I don't think so.
No, I don't think so. I think that was that last Hitman attempt on the Quest was it. This is for PSVR 2.
And this is a completely different game.
Yeah, it's a completely different game, but I think they tried something on Quest. I don't think they're going to do it again. At least that's just my take.
I don't know. Like, PlayStation isn't throwing tons of money at people to make exclusives for the VR2. So that's my only thought, is that we might be getting it.
Well, I imagine this will come to PC, but I don't know that it will come to Quest. Now you can play
the
PC VR on Quest. And that's a pretty good experience.
And a lot of
So-
people complain about that when Quest does the exclusive thing. It's like, it can be dangerous. Now, Arkham looks great. Looks like they did it right that time. But this isn't the first time we've gotten Quest exclusive that it just eats up how good the game could be because they're trying to fit it on headset.
Yeah,
happens a
Arkham looks incredible for it being on a standalone headset, using mobile tech. I'm really excited about it. But the Hitman game doesn't look anything like this.
He was just trying to give him a massage.
He's trying to tickle his ears.
Wet
Willy.
Willy.
Wet Willy. Oh man, yeah. We got some Stellar Blade stuff. What else was in here? Those controllers.
Yeah, the controllers, man.
The Lego
Controllers.
Lego Horizon Zero Dawn.
More Monster Hunter Wilds. How many
Yeah.
times are we going to see this game before it comes out? I mean, come on. It's at
Yeah.
everything.
You're going to see more of it at TGS this week.
Yeah, absolutely we are. There's no doubt in my mind that will
Getting
happen.
an Alan Wake 2 expansion. We saw more of Velgard as well, Dragon Age.
Yeah.
The combat looks pretty good. Like I'm teetering. I'm like, I really like Dragon Age,
Yeah.
but like nothing. Like I might get it for PC just so I can use the RTX card I have just to get like the best looking. Because what I saw today was like, it doesn't look that great, like graphically. And Jason's like, it's not about the graphics, but for this one, it is.
It's that triangle. You have to save yourself somewhere,
I'm not interested in this one personally. Dragon Age is a cool franchise, though. I don't know.
Origins was amazing.
Fantasian used to be an Apple Arcade exclusive. I played it on Apple Arcade. It's actually a pretty fun game. I did not finish it because it is a Japanese RPG and it is very long. But it is a really good game. So people might enjoy that one if they tried it. I don't know anything about Lunar, but that looked cool.
Shredder's Revenge is getting 2 DLCs.
Power World coming to PlayStation, right on the heels of Nintendo suing Power World and trying to get it shut down.
Yeah.
I kind of feel like PlayStation needed to read the room with that one a little bit better, but I don't know. Yeah, Power World is such a weird game. What about this one? What do you think of this one here? Because I hadn't heard of this one before.
I hadn't heard anything about it until today. It looks Souls-esque in a way with some of the combat, but then other times it looks. God, I don't even know how to explain it. Some things kind of look Assassin's Creed with some of the movement, but then the combat sometimes looks like this, but then it looks like that. It looks kind of like Forspoken. That's what I was thinking of. Which that game was awful, but this does look pretty interesting. I think it's going to be somewhat of an like MMO because there's a point where.
Did you see that right here? Right here where they're forging. It just looks like that's a multiplayer game. That looked like another live player coming up to the anvil in the background there, didn't it?
Yeah. Point where it says down in like the bottom that it's like you need an online connection. So I think it's going to be like a Black Desert Online, Final Fantasy 14 kind of feel to it.
Oh, okay.
But it does look really cool. There's like this weird lizard thing later on that looks like he's doing the Hadouken thing. Like it does look pretty cool though.
Did you notice at the bottom, at the beginning, it said captured on PS5 Plus? PS5 Plus. Yeah.
See, there's online multiplayer requires.
Oh, Plus. Yeah, I got you.
Okay, so this was on the PS5 Pro, is what you were saying?
Back here it said, captured on PS5 asterisk. Sorry.
Mix of gameplay and in-game.
Yeah. Yeah, sorry about that. Anyway,
I kind of have a pet peeve about MMOs with like, you know, you have like a great game, but then you have like these lobbies where you run into like other players. Like, it's a bit immersion breaking for me.
I think so
Like,
too.
it's like it's all great, and then all of a sudden you have like that kid running around in circles, you know, and it's just like I don't like how it breaks the feeling of the game.
The kid running around in circles. Metro Awakening VR, that's coming everywhere, I guess, here soon. And then there's that Horizon Astrobot DLC and Ghost of Yotai. Yeah. So that was pretty much it. It wasn't a very long show. There wasn't a ton of stuff that they did, and really wasn't a ton of first party stuff. Just Horizon and Lego Horizon and
Astrobot and
Astrobot DLC
Ghost.
and Go. And the Astrobot DLC it's not like new levels, is it? It's just
there's going to be 5 new speedrun challenge levels, and then there's going to be 10 new bots that you'll find, which will mean that usually they do like 5 to 7 per level, so you might get a few different levels added in there. All
right.
The Stellar Blade is one of the bots that they showed, and then they showed a Helldiver. So hopefully they don't do like they have like Ape Escape in there, and you have like 6 or 7 of the apes. So hopefully they don't do like 4 of the 10 bots or Helldivers. Hopefully they don't do that.
Yeah, for sure. Cool. Well, man, that was fun. It was a fun talk. Let me know where people can find you guys, and we'll start with you, Jason. Let's start with you.
Yeah, you can find me at the construct_VR on YouTube. I just hit 5,000 subs not so long ago, so that's very exciting.
Well done.
Congrats.
Thank you. So I guess I have to get serious and actually start my other socials. So I am going to be in other places.
No, you don't. It's working for you the way you're doing it right now.
Yeah, just one channel. One channel is good.
Just keep doing what you're doing.
Yeah. But good things to come. Connect us this week. I'm not down there clearly, but exciting things. VR and XR and all that stuff is heating up. It's good times. Yeah.
Jay Dunn's down there, so I'm excited to hear more from him about what it was like. Speaking of subs, Yako, you just hit 600, right? Just hit 500 not that long ago, and now you're already up at 600 and something. So that's cool, man. Congratulations.
Getting there. Thanks. Slowly but surely, guys.
So, where can we find you, man?
On YouTube, the Tech Update. I'm also on X and on TikTok. If you search the Tech Update, you should be able to find me. Basically. Thanks, man.
Yeah, thanks, Kyle. Appreciate it. Dan's already gone, I guess. I missed that, but hopefully he's having sweet dreams.
Yeah.
Anytime I hear joining you. Anytime I hear X, I think it's like drugs. I'm like,
it's such a weird choice moving from Twitter to X.
It's a terrible name, but
awful.
Zach, what about you, man?
So you can find us over on youtube.com/nerdcave network. We stream Tuesdays and Thursdays at 7:00. Thursdays is our video game news show. Tuesdays, we hang out and play some games. This Saturday, we're doing our anime show, Eat Sleep Anime. So come and check us out over on patreon.com. I'm not going to plug that there, but you can go check all that good stuff. I'm not going to do that, Debo. But yeah, we're doing our anime show.
I'm cool. That's cool, man.
Go check his Patreon. Do you have a Patreon?
I don't yet. I should get one.
Bo knows. Well, you got a membership. Go membership him up, y'all. Dap him up.
That would be amazing. Yeah, I really appreciate that. Make even more content. You can find me at Bono's Gaming. Obviously, you're already here if you're watching, and I love for you to sub. I'm like, I think I'm on track maybe to hit 5,000 by the end of the year. I'm hoping so. So yeah, would love for you to subscribe. And next next show podcast is going to be on October 7th. And on October 7th, I actually have a special guest coming who is an indie developer. So that I'm excited about that. It'll be the first time I've had someone from the industry coming on the show. So yeah, looking forward to that. And all of you are invited back, of course, to be a part of that if you want to.
Cool.
Yeah. So I guess that's a wrap for episode 23 of. People don't say that anymore, do they? Do they say that? It's a wrap. It's a wrap for episode 23 of Bono's Gamers. Thanks for being here. Stay kind and encouraging out there, and we'll catch you on the flippity flip.
Cheers, guys.